It's good to see you today, Allison. How are you?
Fine.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what does fine mean?
It just means that I'm fine.
I think there's more to fine than just fine.
I
You seem kind of anxious today.
guess.
You don't really know if you're feeling anxious today?
I mean, if I look anxious, then that means that I probably am. Right?
Well, that's not for me to say, that's for you to know. So, are you feeling anxious?
I mean, I have a lot going on.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What do you have going on that's keeping you so busy?
I just have a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot that's like piling up on me. I have to find a job, apparently, according to my dad. My dad makes a lot of money, which is cool and stuff, but I'm not gonna make a lot of money. And I think that he wants me to. And it's just been really bad. There have been a lot of conversations lately, and he just asks a lot of questions, and I don't have answers. So when he asks and I don't have answers, I just start freaking out because he expects me to know and I don't know. And that seems unfair. And I talked to him this weekend and it went really badly. And so that's probably why I seem anxious.
Okay, so can you say some more about how badly it went and in what ways it went badly?
Yeah, I guess. He calls like once a week now. He wants to talk about if I found a job and if I'm even looking. Like, of course I'm looking, but I just have so much going on that I can't do more than one thing at a time right now. And he called to just remind me that, I'm turning 26 in a few months. And like insurance is a thing that I need to figure out. But the way he said it was like, good thing you're gonna have a job by the time you turn 26. And I was just like, well, I might not have a job, and then what do I do? Like, you have so much money, and are you implying that you're not even gonna help me out if I need help? He just like was kind of guilting. He just like uses the money thing to like kind of hang things over my head.
So it sounds like it's increasing the pressure that's on you post graduation to find a job and get your life in order and that sort of thing. Is that true?
Yeah, I guess that's how it seems. And so we talked for a little bit until it came around to the whole insurance conversation, and I kept saying like, okay, I'll figure it out. Like, I'll figure it out when I have the time. And his response was something like, well, there's not just infinite time. Like, you have to figure it out soon. But he doesn't understand that, like, graduating itself is really difficult. Like, I still have weeks before I have to graduate. And so we were talking, and he just was talking and talking and talking, and I started getting upset. Like, I started hyperventilating. I started crying, but like I don't know if he could tell because we were on the phone, not in person. And I tried to get off the phone because I knew I was about to like have a breakdown. And I was like, Dad, I have to go. And he was like, you're just trying to get out of this conversation. You're just trying to run away from it. I was like, no, I just really have to go. And it was true. Like, I had somewhere I had to be, in just a few minutes. And I didn't have time to sit there and talk about insurance all day. And I also didn't have time to sit there and be upset. And he apparently wanted me to do both. And so I just hung up. And that made him mad, I found out later. But I just hung up the phone and I just started crying, and I was at home, thankfully, so I wasn't like out in public or anything, but I did have people that I was supposed to go hang out with. And I ended up not going because I just was like sitting there, on the floor at first, and then I eventually like got in bed, but I was just crying, and like my heart starts beating really fast when I get anxious, and I just start having all these thoughts, like, just really stupid thoughts about how I'm never going to do anything productive with my life, and my dad is going to be disappointed in me, and I just, kind of tried to do things around the house so that I didn't have to deal with it, like I made some dinner for myself, and just every time a thought would creep in, I would just do something else, and so I eventually just like watched TV for the rest of the night and try not to think about it. But that was just a couple days ago, and it was probably the worst one that I've had in a week or so, I guess. Because I just cried for a long time and I couldn't get off the floor. And when I finally had enough, I was like, I'm not going to feel this anymore. Like, I just need to do something else. I just need to take my mind off of it.
Okay, so it sounds like that was a pretty difficult experience for you, and that the anxiety is pretty bad for you. It feels uncomfortable for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how often are you having these kinds of episodes now?
I'd say within the last week, like since I saw you last. Maybe 6.
You've had 6 episodes this intense?
This is the first one that's been this intense in a while. Okay. I'd say the other ones were like not as bad, like I was eventually able to like get myself together and go do the things I had to do the other times, but this time I couldn't.
Okay, so it became more severe.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned that your dad accused you of wanting to run away from your problems and from the things that need to be done after you graduate.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also said that as you were dealing with your anxiety, you wanted to just get away from it and avoid it altogether. And you did that by watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to talk to you about the idea of being able to experience your emotions as they happen, and developing a sense of presence with your feelings, even the negative ones. So what I'd like for us to do is a mindfulness exercise. Would you be willing to do that?
Okay.
Have you ever done mindfulness before? Or had
No.
a meditation practice or anything?
My mom is a therapist. So she has like tried to get me to do it before, but I haven't done it, so.
Okay. Well, if you would just sit back in your chair, and I want you to close your eyes and think of a time that you felt very anxious, and you can use this most recent experience with Dad.
But the whole reason I'm here is because I don't want to feel anxious.
Okay, I need you to stay focused on what's happening right now, in this moment. So let's go back to this interaction that you had with your dad, and you were feeling very anxious. And bring up in your mind where you were, what you were hearing, who you were with, and what exactly was happening. And I want you to hold that experience in your mind. want you to see if you can feel where that anxiety is in your body physically. Can you feel that in your body? Okay, and I want you to just stay with that feeling wherever the anxiety is. And just be with it. And now I want you to imagine stepping outside of your body and observing the experience of anxiety as you have it. And just notice what that feels like and what it looks like from the outside looking in. Okay, and now I want you to just relax and open your eyes and come back to the session. Can you say a little bit about what that was like?
I mean, I felt anxious. I felt nervous, and when I was thinking about it, I it all kind of started to come back. Mm-hmm. I started to, I could feel my body tensing up, and my heart started beating a little faster and stuff, so I definitely, started feeling anxious.
Okay, and then what was it like to step outside of you and watch that experience happen?
I guess I still, kind of felt it, but it almost just kind of felt like, when you're watching a friend go through something really hard.
So maybe you didn't feel as connected to it?
Yeah, maybe.
And you felt a little distance from it?
Yeah, definitely, I didn't feel like I was the one necessarily experiencing it, but I still felt like some parts of it. Mm-hmm. Like my heart was definitely kind of still beating kind of fast. Mm-hmm. And my hands started sweating a little bit, but for the most part I didn't feel the same exact way that I did that, when that situation actually happened.
Okay, so when you were observing, did you notice that it was an experience that you might be able to tolerate in the future?
I mean, I don't want to. Is that what you're asking?
You don't want to have the experience, but if you have the experience, could you allow the experience to happen?
I mean, I guess if I thought that it wouldn't be that bad, because sometimes I have, these anxiety attacks and they're not as bad as this one that I had, mm-hmm. I cry and, I kind of hyperventilate a little bit, but they're not that bad. And so I guess if they didn't have to be as bad as this last one, then it wouldn't be the worst thing,
Okay. But you may have more that are that just as intense as the one you had with your dad. And so by doing these exercises, the mindfulness, it'll help to, over time, build your tolerance, your ability to have those experiences even when they're difficult.
Okay.
So we've had a good session today. You can stop outside and see the receptionist to schedule your next appointment, and I'll see you next week.
Cool.